stopped her. Her eyes met mine, searching for something solid, anything that made sense. But it was all emotional, raw and loud. I can't be Theveline in my own story again, she whispered. I already did that once. I tore a life apart. My son still hasn't forgiven me. This isn't about him, I said. But even as I said it, I felt the guilt punch through my chest. Yes, Itis, she snapped. He looks up to you. He trusts you. I trust you. Then trust me when I say this isn't just a phase, I said. I didn't ask for this. I didn't come here looking for you, Claire, but I see you every day, and I don't want to pretend. I don't anymore. Her breath itched. We stood there locked in a storm of everything we'd held back. The late night glances, the unsaid words, they almost... She stepped forward. "He went to kiss you," she said, voice barely audible. I've wanted her for weeks. I took a step toward her. We're inches apart now. No more space to hide. Then why haven't you? Because once I do, she said, I won't be able to stop. Silence. Our hands brushed, hers trembled. I leaned in and then the front door burst open. Yo, Mom. Alex shouted. You here? Claire flinched like she'd been slapped. We froze inches from each other, one breath away. Yo, Mom, you home? Claire backed away like I was fire. I stepped toward the living room, trying to collect myself, heart pounding in my ears. Claire gave me a look, panic mixed with regret, then walked out first, voice steady, and here, shackled. Alex appeared a second later, grinning. Hey, so random thing. I ran into Dad in the driveway. What the hell was he doing here? Claire didn't answer. Alex turned to me. And why did he say O2 were being weird? I opened my mouth, but Claire cut in. He was just being himself. Don't read into it. Alex lied. Yeah, well, he said something else too. Kind of strange. My chest tightened. Alex narrowed his eyes. Hesed, this wasn't the first time he's seen you with someone I wouldn't expect. Claire froze. What's that supposed? Tomian? I asked, forcing a casual tone. Alex shrugged. I don't know, but he looked smug, like he knew something. Then he said, like mother, like son. Theron fell silent. Claire turned pale, her hands clenched at her sides. What is that supposed to mean? Alex asked it again, more serious now. I stepped forward. He's just trying to start something. No, Claire said suddenly, her voice low. Measured. He's trying to own something. Alex blinked. Wait, what? Claire took a breath, then another. Then out of nowhere, she walked over to her son and placed a hand on his arm. Alex, your father's known for a while. About me, about someone else. That's why you came today. He wanted to tell it. You swap Mom? Alex asked ice wide. Claire looked at me, then back at him and said it. I'm seeing someone. I have been for a little while now. My blood went cold. Not was him. Alex looked between us, confused. Then something in his face shifted, realization creeping in like slow poison. No, he said, stepping back. You didn't mean. Claire said nothing. Alex turned. To me, jaw clenched. Are you serious right now? I didn't speak. You've been living in my house, eating her food, and the whole time you've been with my mom. It wasn't like that, I said quickly. Alex, don't, he snapped. You're supposed to be my friend. I didn't plan this, I said. Neither of us did. But you let it happen. He looked at Claire. You let it happen. Claire's eyes filled with tears. I never wanted to hurt you. Alex lied bitterly. Well, congratulations, you nailed it. And then just like that, he stormed out, slamming the door hard now to rattle the walls. Claire stood frozen, breathing heavy. The weight of her just shattered heavy in the air. I should have stopped this, she whispered. I stepped closer. No, I said. We should have told the truth sooner. Just then, her phone buzzed. She picked it up. One text from her ex-husband. Told you I'd break it. Now, let's see what the rest of the family thinks. Her hand dropped to her side. We're in hiding anymore. We were at war. Claire stared at her phone like it was a live grenade. The text from Darren glared up at her like a threat carved into stone. Told you I'd break it? Now let's see what the rest of the family thinks. I stepped toward her, Claire. She held up her hand. Don't, her voice was calm. Hollow, I should have known, she said, barely audible. He doesn't care woe he hurts as long as he's not the only one hurting. I care, I said. That is the difference. She looked at me, eyes sheavy with tears. Then why does everything feel broken? Because it was cracked straight down the middle. Her son hated U.S. Her ex was out for blood dot and everything we hadn't said. All the quiet moments and stolen glances, they weren't secret anymore. Maybe we made a mistake, she said, looking away. I didn't answer right away. I wanted to fight that thought, but I didn't have the words. Then she turned to me again, and this time her face wasn't just afraid. It was exhausted, like a woman who had been running towards something for years, only to realize she'd been running in circles. I can't lose him, she said. I won't, I know, I said. Yaushul didn't have to choose, but I do. Wes stood there facing the fallout, and for the first time since this started, I felt something crack in me too. Not because she was pulling away, but because I understood and it hurt like hell. Then say it, I whispered. Tell Matheson's here. She swallowed, looked Medid in the eye. I wanted to love you, she said. But right now, I have to love him more. The silence that followed was deafening. She stepped forward, touched me face the same way she had in thought way, soft like memory, like goodbye. I meant every second, she said. Don't ever think I didn't. I nodded. I couldn't speak. If I did, I'd break. Claire turned, grabbed her keys off the counter, and walked out the front door. I didn't follow. I stood in the kitchen, surrounded by the echo of what we almost wear, the glasses. Still in the sink from that night, her necklace on the windowsill, the smell of her perfume still in the air like a ghost. A few minutes later, the silence was broken by the front gate creaking open and the sound of her car driving off. I sat down on the edge of the couch and let the ache sink in. We didn't get a clean ending. We didn't ride off into the sunset. Putin. That mess. There was still truth. And sometimes truth is the only thing strong enough to hold on to. Even when love has to let go. It's been 4 weeks. 4 weeks since she walked out the door, since wouldn't say goodbye, but knew it anyway. I haven't seen Claire since that morning. Not really. Once or twice from a distance, her car pulling into the driveway. A glimpse of her behind the curtains, but we haven't talked. Not a word. Her son moved out a week after me. Things between them are strained, but they're talking. That matters more than any want to admit. And me, I moved into Asmal apartment across town. Got a job at a local design firm. Life goes on. It is too, but it's different now. There is this weight in the quiet. Not regret, not shame, something deeper. Like I touched a version of love that wasn't meant to last but changed me anyway. Like I learned something no one ever teaches you. That sometimes the most real things don't fit the rules. I still think about the small stuff. The way her eyes crinkled when she laughed. How she made tea she never drank. How her presence felt like calm after a storm. We didn't get a happy ending. But maybe that wasn't the point. Maybe love isn't always about forever. Maybe it's about seeing someone fully, flaws, fears, love it, and letting that matter, even if it ends. Alex hasn't spoken to me since, and I get it. I crossed the line. I hurt him. The trust we had may never come back, but maybe one day he'll understand. But I didn't go looking for his mom. I just saw someone and she saw him back. As for Claire, I think she made the right call. Her son needed her more than I did, and she needed to be the kind of mother she could live with. That kind of strength, it's Rare and beautiful, and part of why I fell for her in the first place. I don't know if I'll ever love Samin like that again. I don't know if I'm supposed to, but I do know this. Love is never clean. It's messy, unfair, and terrifying. It comes in through the side door when you're not looking and turns your life into something you don't recognize. And if you're lucky, it teaches you something real. Claire taught me that. And I'll carry it even if I never carry her again. So that is story. It didn't end in a kiss. It didn't end in disaster. It just ended the way real things do. But I wouldn't change it. Not a second. Because for a while there, it felt like something in us, something worth the risk, and that's enough. Did you enjoy the story? What kind of stories would you like to hear next? Love that challenges thrills, forbiddens crushes, second chances. Tell me what you want next. I've got more stories too. The thing is, I had never seen her like that before. Not until last night. Sure, she always had that presence, that confidence that filled up a room before she even spoke. But something changed, or maybe I did. Either way, I hadn't stopped thinking about the way her eyes shelled mine just a little too long when she said goodnight. Her name is Claire Dot, my best friend's mom, 46, divorced, smarter than anyone gives her credit for, and somehow still funny in a dry, dangerous kind of way. I'm 24, just moved back to town, crashing at her house for a few weeks until I get settled. What started as innocent nerves and shared laughs over when it turned into something else, something I couldn't explain. It started slow. The way she brushed my shoulder when Shep was by in the kitchen. The soft sigh she'd let out when she thought I wasn't listening. She always wore this necklace, a simple silver chain with a little charm that rested right where her collarbone dipped. I caught myself staring at it more than once. At her more than once last night. It was just two of us. Her son, my friend, had gone out with his girlfriend. Claire made a pasta and opened a bottle of red. Wettered for hours about nothing really, about music, books, relationships. She asked if I was seeing anyone. I said no. She smiled and said, smart. Man, there was a pause after that, a silence thick enough to make me swallow twice. She leaned in just slightly, close enough that I could smell the faint scent of her perfume, vanilla and something floral. Her hand lingered on the table, fingertips tracing the rim of her wine glass. I thought about reaching for it just to see if she'd pull away, but I didn't. I told myself I was imagining it, that she was just being friendly, warm, that I was reading. Too much into things. But then she said it softly, almost like a dare. You ever wonder what would happen if people stopped pretending? I looked up at her. She wasn't smiling. I didn't sleep that night. Now here she was standing outside of my room. Morning light cutting through the hallway behind her, casting long shadows across the wooden floor. Her hair was pulled back, loose strands falling around her face. She wasn't wearing makeup, just a plain white teen jeans. She looked real, intimate somehow, like the moment before a first kiss, quiet and uncertain. I opened the door halfway. Hey, she said, voice edge and all. Can I come in? I nodded, moved aside. She stepped past me, then turned, hands tucked into her back pockets. Her eyes scanned the room like she didn't know what she was doing there either. I couldn't sleep, she said. Kept thinking about what I said. I said nothing. She took a breath, walked toward me closer than she needed to. And then slowly, deliberately, she reached out and took me hand in hers. Come with me, she whispered. Just then, my phone buzzed. It was a text from her son. Hey bro, forgot my charger. Be back in 10. Claire saw the screen light up. She looked at me, her eyes searching mine, fingers still wrapped around mine like they weren't ready to let go. Neither was I shouldn't let go. Even after reading the text, even after we both knew what it meant, that we had 10 minutes, Mabless, before this bubble burst. Her fingers stayed wrapped around mine, warm, soft, trembling just slightly. "Claire," I said barely above a whisper. "Ich know," she cut in, voice low, steady. It shouldn't have come in, but she didn't move. We just stood there facing each other like we were holding on to something invisible, fragile, impossible. The silence filled in what we wouldn't say. That this wasn't just a moment, that it hadn't started last night. That something had been building from the second I moved in. Claire Uasetto be the kind of woman I'd never even imagined being close to. Married at 22, divorced by 41, her husband left for a younger woman, the kind who posts yoga selfies and sells crystal healing kits on Instagram. Claire never said I toot right, but I could see the bitterness in the way she laughed when people brought up relationships. Love gets tired. She once told me that it looks for shortcuts. I didn't push her on it, but I remembered that line. I felt like maybe she saw something in me she said oh believe in, or maybe she just liked it the way I listened. Me. I'd had exactly on serious relationship college. I tended with her cheating on me with her coworker, some guy who wore sweaters over his shoulders and told people to circle back. After that, I stopped looking. I figured I'd rather be alone than disappointed again. And yet, here I was standing inches away from the one person I probably should have stayed away from. There was the obvious, the age gap. 22 years. That didn't scare me. What scared me was the part no one would forgive. She's my best friend's mom. The woman who used to drive us to school, who used to make us grilled cheese and yell at us to take our shoes off in the house. I remember once in high school, I caught her crying in the garage. I didn't say anything, just backed away. Now I wonder if I should have. She let go of my hand finally, like she just remembered who we were. "I should go," she said. But she didn't move. "You don't think to?" I said. It came out faster than he meant it to. She looked at me again. Dot really looked at me. Her guard cracked just a little. "You're too young to be sure about someone like me." "I'm not sure, I admit it. But I don't think I've ever wanted to be." That stopped her. I could see her battling it. The logic, the guilt, the years of doing the right thing. But beneath all that was something tender, something unspoken Webbe felt pressing in from the quiet. She reached up, gently brushing a strand of hair from my forehead. Her fingers lingered for a second longer than they should have. And in that moment, wouldn't kiss, didn't speak, didn't run. We just stood there close enough to feel each other breathe, pretending the world didn't exist outside the room. The front door slammed. Claire and I jolted apart like we'd been caught stealing something. I stepped back so fast and eerily tripped over my backpack. Shuddering toward the window, breathing shallow. Her fingers were still warm from where they'd brushed my forehead. "Shit," I muttered. "He's early." "Of course he is," she whispered. Her eyes darted to the door, then to me. "Weekend." Before she could finish, the hallway echoed with approaching foots. "Yo, bro," her son called out. "You up?" Claire looked at my pure panic, but underneath it, some thingles, something aching, regret, longing, fear. I grabbed a book off the desk and dropped into the chair, pretending to read. Claire smoothed her shirt back toward the door. She hesitated, glanced back once before slipping out, pulling it shut behind her just as the door knob rattled. The door creaked open. "Dude," he said, walking in, grabbing his charger from the nightstand. "You up late or something?" I nodded, heart still racing. "Couldn't sleep," he laughed. "Yeah, my mom was up too. She was in the kitchen when I got there. Looked weird. Said she was making tea, but I think she burnt the water." I forced a chuckle. "She does." That sometimes. He didn't seem to notice. Unplugged his charger, tossed me a granola bar, and walked out like nothing had happened. As soon as he left, exhaled down the hall. I could hear Claire moving around the kitchen too quickly, Dishes clinking, cabinets opening and closing like she was searching for anything but what she needed. Trying to stay busy, trying not to think, but I was thinking all damn morning. Later that day, we crossed a path in the hallway. Quick, accidental. Neither of us spoke. She looked down. I looked away, but our hands brushed as wettest, the smallest contact, and it sent a jolt through me like I touched live wire. She flinched. I stopped at Claire. I said, quiet. She didn't turn around. I know, she whispered, but Wiccan. I stepped closer, close enough to smell that same faint perfume. We already are. She turned then slowly. Her eyes were red-rimmed but sharp. This isn't a movie, she said. There are real people who get hurt. I know, he's me son, I swallowed. He's my best friend. She shook her head, then like she couldn't help it, reached up and touched my face just for a second, just enough to ruin me. I wish you weren't you, she said. I wish you didn't mean that. And then we heard it footsteps again, this time slower, closer. She dropped her hand. We stepped apart. Around the corner came her ex-husband, tall, tanned, smug. Hey, he said, nodding. Didn't know you had company. Claire's face froze. He looked at me and smiled. Oh, he added. You're the guy sleeping down the hall. The air went still the way he said it. You're the guy sleeping down the hall. Hung in the air like a trap, just waiting to snap shut. Claire stiffened. I forced a smile. Yeah, just for a few weeks until I find a place. Her ex's grin didn't reach high size. Nice setup. He turned to Claire. You always were good at picking strays. That one stung for both of us. Claire crossed her arms, jaw tight. Why are you here, Darren? He shrugged. Just wanted to drop off a few things for Alex. Didn't know I'd be interrupting something. You're not, I said quickly, maybe too quickly. Claire's eyes flickered to me, grateful but warning. Darren smirked. Sure. He didn't stay long, just enough to leave the stink of suspicion behind him. As soon as the door clicked shut, Claire turned to me like she was about to say something, then stopped. Instead, she walked straight into the kitchen. I followed. You okay? I asked. She opened a cupboard, stared into it like it held the answer. I didn't know what I'm doing. Yes, you do, I said. We both do, she turned. Do we? Her voice cracked. Because Ali C is the edge of a cliff, and I'm one step away from ruining everything. Maybe what we had before already was ruined. I said we just didn't admit it. That,